in which the land of Hyrule has been blessed by the RNG curse. This is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 3. My name is Duodeka, and today I am joined by Esmar. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a nice Sunday afternoon where I am, and I'm getting ready to watch this match between Slumberjack and Readriim. Both of their teams are at 18 points on the season, so both of them hoping to net another 3 with a win here.
Yep, and we've got, for week 6, we have an all dungeons key sanity seed. So we have to play all the dungeons in the game in order for us to be able to defeat Ganon. And you're going to probably see pretty high collection rates, and this race should last maybe approximately a little over 2 hours. So grab yourself some popcorn, some food, nice drink, and just sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah, the one of the things about all dungeons is, again, you do have to collect all of the items required to clear all the dungeons, and the key sanity means you got to find all those small keys as well. And so, just as a point of order, a couple of the important ones: Swamp Palace small key locks all of Swamp Palace. You do need to defeat Aghanim, so both of the Castle Tower smalls are required, as well as the Ganon's Tower big key. So those are the important keys to watch out for, along with a handful of Pod smalls and Turtle Rock smalls as well.
I bet people are going to be glad that I'm not the one that rolled this seed. And our tier 1 triple is a full magic refill. That's actually pretty handy to know.
So both of them going to the Uncle first. This is a little bit faster if you're planning on coming out again.
Yeah, it'll be okay, just a big 20, so not really gonna worry about that. So we are
Yeah, I
probably
feel
going
like
to see Sanctuary to Kakariko.
Yeah, I feel like if you're planning on the save and quit, it's a little bit faster to do that first chest first because you save just that little bit of backtracking. But if you go to the uncle first and you get a weapon of some sort, you can decide, hey, I'm going to go to escape right off the bat here. Also notable though that the any chest in the dungeon sequence after the first one is not in logic, since technically you could take that small key that you get from the guard and go unlock the door in the back of escape, locking you out of the front until you get that small. So that's a something to keep in mind when you're trying to read the logic of these seeds.
Yeah, the logic of key sanity seeds, especially in full key sanity, is that the game assumes that you will use all of the keys you get in the dungeon. This includes the ones that are dropped by guards or enemies or picked up in pots in the worst ways imaginable. So, I mean, like, I do a lot of key sanity things, and I still sometimes don't understand the logic.
Yeah, I mean, really, all it is the game has to make sure it doesn't put a key in a place that you can potentially ever not get to. No matter what, it has to be available, and so it has to consider all the possibilities. I didn't catch what we saw in the um in the in the back of Lumberjack. It looked like it was red and white, so it's either a piece of heart or maybe the cape.
Turtle Penguin, yeah, but it's more
300 rupees.
noticeable.
Okay, I'm blind.
Yeah, it's more of a factor in key sanity. It's still a bit of a factor in non-key sanity seeds, but it's much more of a but it's much more noteworthy in key sanity seeds, and especially in all dungeons.
So luckily those crabs dropped some bombs for us, so we can do all of the Kakariko checks without having to worry about that.
Yeah, bush crab having bombs is a very nice thing. We get a big 20, another piece of heart, another big 20, and another piece of heart.
Yeah, so those 20s are good because that's going to put us at bottle vendor money.
I'm gonna bet there's a piece of heart in this chest. Nope, it's the flute, which that's even better. That is certainly not a piece of heart.
Yeah, seeing the flute in Kak early is always nice because you can activate it right off the bat here. Um, the other nice thing to see before you leave is a bottle, because then you don't have to come back for Sick Kid. Seeing both here would be really nice.
Well, there's a glove, so that's one piece of the puzzle to Dark World access. Arcana Samaria.
So with the Cane of Samaria, the one glove, the flute, and the Mire Big showing up, I'm wondering if Mire is going to be an early dungeon in Logic.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting question because like you have the flute, you have a glove. Maybe they want you to go to the mire area for something.
I mean, honestly, all we need for a Mire full completion is the medallion to open it, hookshot or boots, and one more glove upgrade in the Moon Pearl. So, already 4 minutes in, 5 minutes in, we're 4 items away from a Misery Mire full clear of all things, which is it's pretty significant. I don't know if Slumberjack activated that flute.
Now yeah, he did.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna ask you a bit of a question, and let's see if our chat can remember this. What medallions do you think our TR and Misery Mire would be?
I mean, at this point, it's a toss up. If we see one though, I wouldn't be surprised if that ended up being at least a Mire medallion. Actually, the most interesting is when you've got Bombos for one of them, because Bombos does allow you to access Ice Palace to kill the Freezors.
Yeah, that is one thing with this logic is that the game may expect you to complete Ice Palace with just the Bombos Medallion. And then it does evil things like hide the fire rod on Colstair.
Ooh. So, I wonder if Slumberjack is gonna go back for that big key on race game later. So I have a feeling he called the bird, but sort of neglected to dodge it in time.
Yeah, I'm a little confused as to why. Slumberjack didn't get the big key on there, especially if it's something important like the GT big key.
So I guess in the meantime, he's getting a head start on these South Shore checks. This actually ends up being good if this is, say, Swamp or Skullwoods big key, and to a lesser extent Ice Palace big key. It's the desert big, so Slumberjack is going to have to go do that race game eventually.
Yeah.
And with that book showing up, maybe sooner rather than later, we're one fire source away from a desert full clear being in Logic.
Well,
not full clear in terms of checks, but the boss for sure.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that even then, with the key sanity things, that boss clear isn't in Logic unless we have the desert small.
Yeah, and that's another thing about these randomizer seeds is there's a big difference between in Logic and possible, and key sanity only compounds that.
We get a hookshot in Mini Moldor Cave, and we get a mushroom from Agina. And judging by that cane of Samaria, if we get a hammer or a mirror at some point, maybe we could see a fake powder at some point.
Yeah, for sure. But again, Slumberjack decides, gonna flute over to Ice Rod Cave. This is a little quicker than going on foot, and probably there's sort of an option here, right? You can either fake flipper up to the Zora area, or you can just not worry about those, or maybe just get Hobo. Without the boots or the Moon Pearl, you can't set up a water walk. So you can't get a lot of those things out of Logic. Picking up that Fire Rod there is big, though. If it were me, I would leave those for later and just go up to the mountain.
Apparently the rods got confused. I didn't realize that apparently the fire rod is supposed to be in the ice rod cave.
Yeah, and Slumberjack now going back. Oh no, going to Kakariko to pick up some bombs. I wonder if we're gonna see that big key picked up while he's in the area.
Yeah, just a quick flute to 3 and going back to the race game. Obviously not the most efficient run, but clearly I feel like that we can assume that the flute away was probably an accident.
Oh yeah, for sure. It very clearly seemed like he was trying to dodge the bird, but couldn't quite get far enough up against the wall. So I wonder if Slumberjack will go to the desert here. I still think the better play is to go and make the mountain climb.
Yeah, with that flute though, it does allow you to eliminate one of those annoying one objects, which is a Gina, because you can just flute over to 6 and then do the check and then not have to worry about it, as
Yeah, okay,
opposed
we're
to
seeing back
just
of escape first here, which again I like. Might as well clear off any high density checks you can quickly before you head up the mountain. Maybe we'll see Sahasrala's hut as well.
well, there's a
Ooh,
moon
Moon
pearl,
Pearl.
and we have the red boomerang. So we are just a hammer or another glove away from Dark World access. And if it's another glove, then that's Mire access.
Yeah, so it does make a lot of sense to try and clear up as much as you can before you head to Death Mountain, especially in this scenario. You could go there early and get all of Paradox Cave. The issue here is if you just get, one or two more things, then you can clear a lot more on that first trip. If we're really lucky with some of the things we pick up, you could even maybe get into Turtle Rock. Ice Rod away from being able to finish that boss. We need another glove and the hammer. If that stuff shows up on Death Mountain, and there's our sword, that's another thing we'd like to have. The mirror allows us to access Tower of Harris, so does the hammer. So there's a lot of things that if we get one extra thing, we can do a whole lot more with the one mountain climb.
We get our little talk with Sahasrala, and we learn that the green pendant is in Pod.
Readriim, on the other hand, going straight up the mountain with that hook shot. So we'll see which of these two plays was the better one.
Yeah, I personally do like this Death Mountain play because you got quite a bit more checks in terms of quantity. We have a small key on top of Spec Rock. I did not see what that was, but it was probably nothing given which direction that Readriim is going. Oh, just blueberries? Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's really anything that would really help. Say if you find what could Slumberjack have found on the mountain that would make this Eastern dip a better play? So I still think this is pretty safe on Slumberjack's side. You could find something in here that would make the mountain climb a little better, and all you could really find it on the mountain that would make this play better is both the big key and the bow.
We get the Ether Medallion in the bottom 2 of Paradox Cave, and now let's look at the top 5.
And meanwhile, if Slumberjack gets, say, the Titan's Mitts here, that could potentially allow him to do the entirety of Dark Death Mountain as well. So that would be a pretty big find, and the risk of this dip is relatively low. There are no keys in chests in Eastern Palace, so it's not as impacted by key sanity.
We get our first pod key in the second chest of Paradox Cave, and we also find our second shield as well.
All right, so Readriim heading into Spiral Cave. This is the last check that's possible on the mountain for right now.
Yeah, but with that book, it could be pointing us towards something being a desert. Well, there's the hammer.
There's the hammer. Okay, so that is the one thing that's sort of gonna bail Readriim out here. Is if that had not been the hammer or the mirror or something similarly useful, then this would have been a trip for a whole bunch of nothing you immediately need.
Yeah, and Slumber's also going to travel up to the mountain, so he is going to get that hammer and that pod small in due time.
Interestingly enough, at this point, with that moon pearl, we need if we get one of the invulnerability items, that also puts Spike Cave in logic.
We did see the cane of Burna on the desert ledge, so there is that.
So it is in logic right now. Technically, since that item is fully obtainable.
Well, there's the other boomerang.
Readriim deciding it's crucially important to pick up the boomerang.
I mean, it's something of preference. People like the red boomerang, people like the blue boomerang.
So here I imagine we're going to see the fabled Harapot.
Yep. Is he gonna do the hookshot version, or is he gonna do the bomb version? He's gonna go for the bomb version.
Yeah, interesting though, Readriim did not pick up the sword. So is going to have to do full hammer Moldorm, which is a little tougher. Just because you don't have that the sword to sort of shield yourself.
Yeah, and that sword, I believe, was in Sahashal's hut. And Readriim better be careful here because he's on 2 hearts. So Readriim, you're on 1 heart. If you do that, you're never mind. He's gonna take a death warp.
Slumberjack misses the bomb jump there to save a little bit of time. But this Harapod attempt is costing Readriim a lot of time here. This has been, probably a full minute already. These are some tricks that save a lot of time, but if you're not consistent with them, it's really up in the air how much time they're really saving. Now, in this case, you're using it to bypass a logical requirement, which often is kind of worth any amount of time, just so you don't have to retread your path. However, this could end up being a whole lot of nothing if there's something important in the big chest here, and he has to come back up anyway.
Yeah, that is one of the bigger risks with Harapod, especially key sanity.
So it looks like Slumberjack deciding not to go back up to Hera immediately, unless he's planning a flute. No, yeah, Slumberjack is heading over towards Desert, it looks like. Or no, going right to the Dark World, starting Hype Cave. So
All right, let's
Readriim is
go and
getting
fight
this
it.
out of logic clear. But Slumberjack is going to be saving a lot of time in Dark World progress.
Readriim gets the caterpillar, take it down, and finds the map. Wow, French vanilla map.
Yeah, so that's actually not good news for Readriim. Sure that a boss has been taken down, but Slumberjack didn't overcommit to the mountain. Is just gonna, get started on the Dark World. Ooh, if I were Readriim there, I would have at least checked the tablet before leaving. He can't get the item on it, but with the book, he can at least see what it is.
There was the only thing that was in Hype Cave this time around was just a Skullwoods small key, so whole nothing. And we're gonna also get a check on what our 5-6 are.
Yeah, that's very important to know. If one of them is the Tower of Hera, Eastern Palace and Tower
Okay,
of Hera. So that actually might
thank
end up
you.
being good for Readriim if there's an important item in there.
Let's have the commentator curse start already.
In general, though, I do like Slumberjack's play here a little bit better. There's a comfortable lead here in the Dark World, and again saved all of that time that Readriim spent attempting that Hera pot.
Finding blue mail from the sick kid. It is a good item to have very early on, because right now I would not say this is a very healthy looking seed.
And Slumberjack doing some archery here to grind just a few rupees. I think hoping to bank up some for a potential Zora check. Because this dig game here is a full 80 rupees, and at only 140 before that that archery game there, that would set him back quite a bit. Especially if it's not a lucrative dig game, which it's looking okay right now. Yeah, Readriim really seems to be prioritizing these dungeon clears as he's heading straight into Skull Woods. Again, another dungeon that can be full cleared right now. And
There's the glove,
reward of
and
the mitts in
there's the
there.
Titan Smiths.
So this is starting to look a little better now for Readriim, because Slumberjack hasn't made really any major progress to speak of in the dungeons. Is probably going to find those mitts pretty soon. Since again, it does make a lot of sense to go up into Skull Woods with this equipment. With that fire rod, it's a little spooky. Fighter Sword Moth is not a fun fight. Yeah, and Misery Mire is full clearable right now. As long as it's the Ether Medallion. If our runners go there and they still only have the Ether Medallion, and they check the Mire Medallion and it is Ether, I think the play is to go in there. I usually take that as a sign that it's going to be worth your time.
Yeah. Question is, will Meyer be vanilla for entry?
The one caveat to that is we don't have the lamp, which is logically required for the clear, and one of the harder dark rooms. So if these runners are comfortable with it, I wouldn't be surprised to see them go for it. But it would also be perfectly acceptable to say, hey, this isn't full clearable. Let's put this off until we can logically full clear it. Yeah, and that's true. The boss fight with Vitreous is certainly no joke at this at this level of equipment. The blue mail helps. Slumberjack, however, didn't pick it up.
Yeah, blue mail was on the sick kid. So he does have that bottle, so he might pick it up shortly after.
Yeah, so this moth fight is pretty spooky right now. Readriim does have the bonus of having that mail, but again, only 4.5 hearts right now. So really has to make these hits count.
Well, he does have a green goo, so in case he runs out of magic, and he's going to use it right there. Ooh, be careful there, you're at 1.5 hearts. Just don't touch the moth or do anything, but he gets it done. Just like that.
So Readriim takes a 2 crystal lead over Slumberjack. So again, some of these quick decisions, sort of making up some of that time lost on that Harapot. Because again, Readriim hasn't gone south towards Hype Cave yet, but Slumberjack didn't get anything out of that entire area. So again, not much of an advantage gained from those extra checks.
Actually, oh wait, we don't have the mirror. Never mind.
Yeah, Readriim setting up for a death warp here. It's the fastest way to get out.
Yeah, this is the one caveat with having blue mail or any sort of armor is that it makes death warping just a little bit take a little bit more time as opposed to having the mirror.
So I imagine we see Readriim go down into the Village of Outcasts now and check those checks out. And probably continue on south. Maybe the option here would be between going south through to Hype Cave or grabbing the Smith and saving and quitting to the Light World. That might make more sense from Slumberjack, since Slumberjack has already done the south and has to go back to Light World Kakariko anyway for the bottle turn in.
Yeah, even if he doesn't, it's not a huge deal.
All right, so Readriim continuing across the north side. This is a little curious since none of these checks are really available. Probably just taking a look at the item up there. Ooh.
Oh, that sucks.
And the roughest part about that is all that magic is gone. It decides to save and quit, not gonna recommit to that. Just come back later when it's an easier fight. So Readriim clutching out that fight is actually pretty huge.
Yeah, the Mothula fight, it's definitely a very more uncomfortable fight if you're not as experienced because you've got so much going on. You've got spikes flying at you. You've got this giant butterfly that is trying to kill you. So it's hard to know like what to focus on. So at some points in the fight, it could just be like you're just trying to survive.
Yeah, and it's one of the most punishing ones to lose as well. I see like other top contenders for that title would be, Helmasaur's pretty punishing, Vitreous. Ice Palace. But despite this relatively quick run back, the fact that if you're relying on a low percent fire rod kill, you're gonna be out of magic after an unsuccessful attempt.
Ice Palace big key, but that's not necessarily a super important big key, especially considering the fact that we have tricks like Icebreaker and Ice Palace Bomb Jump.
Yeah, our runners could complete Ice Palace right now if they felt so inclined.
Well, it wouldn't be in logic.
Oh, for sure, but it would be possible. They could fake Flipper to the island and go right in. Everything in the dungeon is completely doable. There's one of our castle tower keys. So actually, both of those chests are now available. Only the first is in logic. Taking a peek over here at Turtle Rock. That's interesting, because that's a full clearable. Well, not full clearable, but you can access a lot of Turtle Rock right now without what they've got set up, or a fair amount rather. You've got one key, but Slumberjack finds the bow in Thieves Town, and if I'm not mistaken, oh no, we still don't have the Hera Big, so that's not logical Pyramid Fairy yet.
Yeah. Also,
and no Eastern Big. I
Yeah.
always forget the Eastern Big.
Yeah, we also can't full clear TR because no big key.
Yeah, we can't full clear TR, but a dive isn't out of the question. You can get quite a few chests early on with just the Cane of Samaria and the Fire Rod. We can get all the way to Chain Chomp Room. So at this point, I imagine if Slumberjack is keeping track of the checks, well, I guess not. I guess what I would have done in that situation is I would have turned in the smith or grabbed the smith and then turned in Sick Kid and gotten the smith prize in one fell swoop there. But I guess Slumberjack is more interested in that logical desert palace clear at the moment, or Mire area, I suppose. Making a liar out of me by going to Mire.
Yeah, I was actually kind of expecting this play. Ooh, that Murdactyl not having a good time. Okay, so we don't need any other. So we don't need any other medallions.
There's that Hera Big.
And there's the boots.
Yeah, so with the bow, Mizramire is a lot more comfortable. Unfortunately, Slumberjack can't open it.
Yeah, he's gonna be disappointed.
Bam, bam. And see that, and that's why I would have done the desert play first, because it's not a big deal to fly to that spot at any point. There's never like a convenient spot to route in Mire area, because it basically takes the same amount of time wherever you are, because you have to flute to 6 anyway. Ooh, Slumberjack. See, if Slumberjack had done the desert area, would have had that mushroom. Could have turned that in right here.
Yeah. Turn the mushroom. If it wasn't worth anything, probably would have hard reset for Pig Powder because we are able to do that now. We have a hammer. We have the Cane of Samaria.
And that would have been a great time to do it too, because it would have been right after a save and quit. So Slumberjack entering the Desert Palace as Readriim does some of the checks that Slumberjack skipped.
Find the Uncle Bombs in Palace, and just 300 rupees. We're gonna pick that up, and I'm not surprised that Readriim picked those up because they work well for Zora money.
Yeah, and it's a comfortable amount to be at right now because, again, we do have a couple of dungeons that we do like to have magic for, and we do have the flute for easy potion shop access.
Hi, Swamp Palace Big.
All right, so now I imagine Slumberjack is going to go to the back of desert. Notably, this clear, again, sort of like Hyrule Castle we were saying earlier, it's not in logic because you could take the key under the pot and go to the right side of desert. So that would lock you out of the back of desert and the boss until you find the small key out in the world somewhere. Not a lot of people will do that. There are certain situations, but most of the time you want to just use that key for what it's meant for, which is the door in this room. Readriim retreading some old ground here, making his way down around the south side.
He's making his way downtown.
I wonder if after Hype Cave, Readriim considers a pod dip. 2 small keys isn't a lot, and we do know that there's one more on the torch in Desert Palace. Now, the one thing to be said for going to Mire area first is that pod small key would not have been available had we gone to Desert first.
Yeah, you can clear pod with just 4 small keys, provided you don't open the big door, the middle door, and you know how to hammer jump.
Yeah, in Key Sanity, that hammer jump is very valuable because it allows you to get to 2 chests or 3 if you have the big key without having to spend one of your precious keys for it. So it really, really does a lot for your efficiency in that dungeon. And it becomes really unattractive to go for the Harmless Hellway or Vanilla Big Key chests. We do see Readriim deciding to make that pod play. Not a terrible choice. With the bow, you can do a lot to make those 2 keys go pretty far.
And Slumberjack, now with some magic, is going to go and open Mire.
And presumably clear it. Full clear is completely possible right now. Unfortunately, we don't have the 1 Mire small that can make routing it just a little bit nicer, but at this point, I do like the Mire play. The bow really does a lot to help that Vitreous fight.
Oh, for sure.
It's still pretty dangerous, though, because contact damage with Vitreous does a lot of damage, and we don't have a lot of hearts, and we're still on green mail on Slumberjack's side. So we're going to have to see some gameplay going on here. Meanwhile, first check in Palace of Darkness for Readriim. And it's another sword.
That's a pretty nice find, actually.
Yeah, that's great, because that's going to, again, when Readriim gets around to doing Mire, that's just going to make some things just that much faster. Unless Slumberjack finds another sword in here, in which case Readriim would be finding it as well, in which case it still makes it faster. Another option that Slumberjack does have is using the Cane of Burna for the first half of the Vitreous fight. It's not a super popular choice just because of the amount of lag frames that it generates. But for runners that aren't at the very tip top of execution, you honestly would take that every day over potentially dying to the boss in a risky fight. And the amount of time it loses is completely negligible to having to restart the whole dungeon.
In addition, we don't have half magic, and Cane of Burna is very high in regards to how much magic it does consume.
So far, not much else showing up in Palace of Darkness here. But again, with the 2 keys that we have now, I guess we must have seen another one. No, we haven't seen another one because Readriim didn't have to use any.
Well, there's the half magic.
Yeah, so now Slumberjack is in a really comfortable spot. Just has to make sure to not get too cocky on the Vitreous fight, because those 7 hearts can disappear immediately. I believe contact with the eyeballs on green male does what, 6 hearts? It's pretty good.
Yeah, it does. It does a lot.
Because again, you are expected to have blue mail by that point.
Yeah, in the vanilla game. And there's the ice rod.
So another couple of TR smalls, and that's and of course the TR big. We're getting pretty good on items.
And there's the lamp. One of the
Lamp
great things.
pod.
Yep, and one of the great things about advanced placement is that you can have things like the lamp be locked behind the fire rod and be locked in dark rooms.
Yeah, so it looks like Readriim is not interested in going for the bomb jump to get those 2 chests in the dark maze for free. And I don't blame him here. I think getting a sword. Oh no, he's I guess going the front way again. No, he's gonna go for the dungeon clear. That's what he's using that key for.
Yeah, saving the small keys so that way they can just full clear the dungeon, but we still don't have the big key. Actually, we don't have the big key, so
oh yeah, we can't do that.
We can't.
So I wonder what he's planning on doing here, going back in. Maybe doesn't like the chances of going backwards to do the bomb jump. Because there are 3 chests logically locked by a small key in the dark maze. There's the vanilla big key and harmless hellway, all of which logically expect a key to be used. Okay, Slumberjack going back to Skullwood, so this is a chance for Readriim to make some ground. Okay, yeah, so Readriim did not do the Stalfos basement. He's going to spend the small key to go up here. This isn't a bad play, because you're going to have to come back here with the big key again anyway, and you're going to bank on finding another pod small before you get back here. Luckily for Readriim, we know where another pod small is. There's one on Desert Torch. So spending that key for two checks isn't a terrible idea.
Yeah, but until we get that big key, pod cannot be beaten.
I'm wondering about this overworld movement here. I really wonder if it wouldn't have been faster to just save and quit after opening that second chest, then walking all the way through this maze. Because I'm imagining he's moving this into a pyramid and catfish play. And it seems like save and quitting and starting all the way back at Link's house would be slow. But I'm not sure it's not faster than what he's doing right now. Oh, he's not even going to pyramid. What is no, he is going to pyramid. I don't know why he went down there.
Yeah. Now,
Slumberjack, meanwhile, the fight is going much better this time. That half magic makes a big difference. He really needs to. He can. Well, I guess at this point he's out of magic, so Kingdom Burn is not going to do much here.
Yeah, that fighter sword ain't gonna help you. But never mind. Call me a liar. Moth was just one fire sword hit away, and down he goes. So that is Slumberjack's second dungeon clear.
Yeah, a little interesting that Slumberjack didn't decide to go for the full clear of Mire. Given that he was there, I feel like I would have liked the play to do that Dark Room. But regardless, I think we're going to see Hera and Dark Death Mountain at this point. That Hera clear now being in logic, it's a much better move to make, I would say. Also, picking up the old man, that's kind of nice to do as soon as possible when you've got a flute, just because it's a really nice spot to flute from. It's the closest to the door you start from any of the save and quit spots.
So he's not giving us too much right now. So I'm trying to think here. Also, I noticed that we have Quake on Slumberjack's side. I did not catch where that was.
I imagine it would have been in Misery Mire.
Pretty sure our awesome tracker can tell us.
Yeah, cutscene chest, because that was right around when we started paying attention to Readriim finding that lamp.
Shout out to our awesome tracker, Serio X. I hope I pronounced that right.
Serio X. And there's another X at the end, but I don't know if that one's pronounced. It could be French. Unfortunately, Readriim is going into desert here, is not going to be able to grab that pod small from the torch.
Okay, say Ryux. I'm gonna go ahead and just note that down for future times that I'm commentating and you are tracking.
I mean, Serio has noted it down. I've seen that exact spelling before. It's a problem. It's like people have never played a JRPG before. So now Slumberjack is getting that Dark Death Mountain info along with the Turtle Rock medallion info. And that Ice Rod is also going to be showing up relatively quickly here. I don't remember if it was in Hookshot or if it was in. Oh no, it wasn't in Hookshot. It was in Pod, wasn't it?
Yes, it was in the compass chest.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit puzzling to me with what Readriim has to not do Mire first. It made a little more sense with Slumberjack just because of the. I mean, Slumberjack did do the Mire area first, but doing that while not having the lamp to do the dark room, it would make sense to, okay, well, maybe we do desert first, but That's a full logical clear of Misery Mire you're looking at right there. And 3 checks that you can't get in Desert.
And a Spike Cave check. Oh,
Eastern Big.
that's a nice big key to have.
So that's Pyramid Fairy in Logic. So Readriim is sitting on 2 dungeons cleared, as is Slumberjack. Readriim about to get a 3rd. But Slumberjack making really good progress, finding that big key in Spike Cave and heading straight to Eastern, which Slumberjack has already cleared the rest of, save for the big chest and the boss. Interesting to note that Slumberjack still hasn't gone back to Kakariko to turn in that bottle. I'm kind of wondering if he's remembering that check exists. Also, shoutouts to the all right ball pattern there in Cannonball Room. Sometimes if I see 2 in a row on the right side, I'll just start charging up the boots and hope.
Yeah. Like, you see a dungeon with all these, like, wide or open areas, and you, like, think, like, why didn't we get the boots here? Because everything's just so wide open and just, like, perfect for it.
Speaking of the boots, Readriim is about to pick them up. Ooh, and there's our other mail upgrade in Eastern Palace in the big chest.
Readriim, you don't know how to swim yet. I'm sorry.
I mean, in Readriim's defense there, that's a pretty easy puddle to jump into.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's like you move a single pixel down or to the right, and it's like, oh, you want in, right? No, thank you, game, though. So after this, I imagine we see a Pyramid Fairy from Slumberjack, and then probably into Palace of Darkness. Because again, 3 keys, or no, yeah, because Slumberjack does have 4 pod smalls, so you could rush the pod clear, but you know it might be good to just check out the Pyramid Fairy first, since it is in Logic. Then you can check the Pyramid, and then go straight over into pod. It's not a lot of extra time, and you get 3 more checks out of it.
And Slumberjack's going to set up for the quick kill. It's a blink and you miss it moment. I'm sorry, I blinked. The armors were suddenly there and now they're gone.
Well, that's our second 5/6 crystal, so the Pyramid Fairy is now in Logic. Now, I would expect either that Slumberjack goes straight for that, or heads straight south for the portal and goes to pod immediately.
Did Slumberjack not clear Hera? Oh,
yeah, Slumberjack
no, they didn't.
clear Hera.
They did not clear it because I just saw that they didn't have the other 5/6.
Yeah, so I think we just assumed that on that mountain climb that Slumberjack was going to be doing that. Interesting, Ice Palace. So not putting a lot of faith in that in the. I suppose pod doesn't make sense because we haven't seen the big key. I'm terrible at commentating key sanity. Specifically for that reason. It's like, oh yeah, big key. We have it, right?
I mean, I love things like cross keys, but
yeah, you cover the keys, and I'll talk about everything that isn't a key.
Yes, I'll cover the main point of this mode, and you talk about everything else that more likely doesn't matter.
Slumberjack, losing a slight amount of time here due to not using the bomb strats in the Pengator. I'm finding the Ice Palace map.
Oh my! I think that's actually pure vanilla. Actually, yeah, that's pure vanilla.
Vanilla ice.
Oh my god. Let's hope. First off, this cannot be a bad seed because I'm the one that's known for rolling bad seeds.
Oh, you're far from the only one known for rolling bad seeds.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You see that
Slumberjack
one
about to set
seed?
up for the icebreaker here.
Yeah, you see that one seed yesterday in the Invitational?
I did not.
Moon Pearl was on Pyramid, and it was a bit so. Aga was logically required for Dark World access, and I like commentators were like saying Moon Pearl's gonna be on Pyramid. I said in chat, if Moon Pearl's on Pyramid, I'm gifting 3 subs in the chat. I don't regret doing that.
Yeah, I mean, meanwhile, Slumberjack pulls off a very quick icebreaker. So again, it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. But losing less time to it than Readriim did to the Harapot earlier. And again, good on Slumberjack to remember to flip the switch before doing the Harapot, since that's the only way that you can clear the dungeon without the big key.
Scruff, if I could make clips longer than 60 seconds, you would see in the chat, Duodeca S gifted 3 subs to the community in that clip.
So Readriim dying in Misery Mire. Given that he's going back in, I'm assuming it was not intentional. Slumberjack setting up for the bomb jump here. One of the drawbacks of hitting the switch to clear the dungeon big keyless is it makes this iced tea chest down here, just down those stairs, a little harder to get to. But that bomb jump right over that gap there makes it pretty easily accessible. And it's our silvers.
That is an excellent find.
So that is really bad news for Readriim here, committing to the full Misery Mire here. Because now when Slumberjack goes back there to finally clear the dungeon, there's going to be a lot less looking around for items, and you're going to have that Silver's Vidi quick kill.
Yep, just 2 silver arrows in Vitreous, and it's easy like that.
Ooh, Slumberjack, you don't have the big key. Oh, he does have the big key. Never mind, I missed it.
Yeah.
Again, keys aren't my job here. I've absolved myself of responsibility for knowing what keys we do and do not have. And I have seen that happen. Players just muscle memory to a big chest they just forget they don't have the big key to. So, not throwing shade on Slumberjack there.
Yep, that is definitely something that players of Key Sanity tend to make, especially people that like are newer to the concept of dungeon items being shuffled.
So, unfortunately here, even with that half magic, it's a little unfortunate that Slumberjack hasn't been to pod yet. So still on that fighter sword, which is not a great spot for Cold Stare. Still manages to take out the first 2 pretty quickly, but I believe that this boss requires spins with the Tempered Sword. So yeah, you got to get up close and personal with that hammer if you want to make any good time here.
Ooh,
One
you're
more
on
hit
2
will do
hearts.
it. You got to stay away from those ice blocks. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
Besides spending the potion's worth it.
Yep.
I agree with that 100%. What wasn't needed, but it was good. Good peace of mind. Allowed him to go in for those last 2 hammer hits. Meanwhile, Readriim is going for this slow Vitreous fight. Master Sword helps a little bit.
Yeah. And the nice thing is that swinging your sword when you're using things like Cane of Burna, Magic Cape, it does actually take longer for your magic to be consumed. So that is something of valid note. But Readriim does get the Vitreous kill. Pretty simple when you have the bow.
It's going to be even simpler when we see Slumberjack go for it. And now finally heading towards the Palace of Darkness. Deciding that the number of chests in there is just too high to put it off any longer. Again, there are 2 checks that are going to be impossible to get to without the big key.
We also now know all of our dungeon prizes from that Meyer pendant. We now know that the rest of the dungeons are crystals. And yeah, and Thieves Town is also a pendant.
So it's looking like Readriim is making that same Ice Palace play. Going up to Hobo first. I mean, I kind of agree with this, but just because it's nice to not orphan this check, but given that this item isn't in logic, there's not as much that you're hoping you're able to find. 'Cause that's a pretty hefty time investment for just a piece of heart.
Seiryu, I don't stream either, so
Okay, so Readriim actually not going to Ice Palace, just doing all of these out of logic flippers checks.
oh, takes Zora right to the face. That sucks.
I almost wonder if it wouldn't have been a better use of time to go to Ice Rod Cave and set up the water walk there with the Pegasus boots.
Hey, now everything in Hyrule Castle is now in logic.
Yeah, and hopefully Readriim does not forget about the 2 chests in Aga's Tower. Because they are both fully in logic right now. We have the 1 key required to get to the second one and the lamp to put it in logic, so... it would be pretty nice if Readriim finds something good up there. We're going to see the basement first.
So let's see here. What are we still looking for in terms of keys? We still need a Pod Big Key. We need a Swamp Small. We need a Thieves Town Big. And we need a TR Big. We also need the GT Big, and we need another CT key.
Yeah, so I wonder... I'm still wondering about that Turtle Rock dip. With 2 small keys, that lets... How far does that get you? Is that how many we had earlier when we were talking about it? Because we can get the right side, the 2 right side keys in Turtle Rock. The one in the lower left in that first room. We can open that first locked door.
So
we could get to Lava Chest.
yeah, so
Or
with
steal
TR,
the key and go past it.
yeah. So with TR, you logically need... does anyone like fetch quests? You logically need all 4 small keys in order to be able to complete it, but we can cheat that by, if we have 3 small keys, we can steal the key from the vanilla big key chest, and we can just substitute that for our 4th small key.
So Slumberjack setting up this hammer jump. Getting 2 checks for free here. Misaligns it slightly. Decides 1 try. No, I guess 2 screen transitions are needed. I'm not sure what Slumberjack is going for here.
So what is going on is that Slumberjack is resetting the super tiles so that
yeah, I suppose.
the
Yeah, if you go down
tiles
to that
reset.
room, you're still right next to it. Yeah. This is a long room.
Speaking on the topic of super tiles and things of that such, what's your opinion on the ongoing festive right now?
I just played it this morning. Slumberjack found the mirror in
I was just
Pod Dark
I,
Maze.
I was just about to say I'm going to interrupt you there because we found the mirror. Oh, that placement sucks.
I'd say it's pretty good for Slumberjack. That's what you want to find out of that pod dip after putting it off for a while. Especially since that's not a check that you really get to easily if you're short on keys. So if I'm Slumberjack here, I go to checkerboard first, just in case it's a third sword. And it's a small key.
2. Small key to Thieves Town.
Okay, that's good. That's a good, nice thing to see before the Thieves Town big. Now, I didn't notice what Readriim found in the castle tower chests, but it doesn't seem like it was a whole lot. Deciding to re-go for these out-of-logic flippers checks.
They did not skip top of Dark Maze. The top of Dark Maze was a heart container.
So I'm really starting to wonder what Readriim is missing that's really making these decisions. I mean, I suppose it's, not having that can't do Eastern, but Ice Palace isn't in logic, but you can clear it. It's really down to when Readriim goes up to the mountain again, and having already cleared Hera doesn't have much of a reason to do so. There is the tablet up there. Ooh.
Oh. Fortunately, loses the water walk because they stepped back out onto land.
Allows the natural order to reassert itself.
Yes. There's another pod key.
Small. That might bail him out, because his only other hope was finding it on a re-dip of desert, which isn't going to happen until the small key shows up.
We are getting a King's Tomb check. I can't remember if Slumberjack checked this or not.
I kind of don't think so. We do have a very speedy Vitreous fight going on over here. Nice presence of mind. Realizes he doesn't have enough arrows for every single eyeball. Saves 2 for the big eye at the end. Since if you don't do that with two arrows, it's very slow.
Well, that might incentivize him to go back.
So now I imagine we're seeing the... no, we're not seeing the pyramid. Slumberjack still hasn't been to Hera. So what is Slumberjack up to here? K45 Bombos?
Yeah, Bombos tablet makes sense.
I would say a Bombos tablet, first chest of swamp even. No, you can't do the first chest of swamp without the flippers. But the first chest of swamp can contain the swamp small.
We find the big key to pod in the vanilla big key chest of Desert Palace.
Okay, so Slumberjack is going to have to get to Zora at some point. Okay, so just going to Bombo's tablet. I find that interesting. I would have expected Cave 45 and Dig Spot. Yeah, I imagine the play in avoiding Hera on Slumberjack's side here is the thinking is mostly, you know, if it's possible that I can find everything else I need down here, you know, for example, if I find the pod big and I find the Thieves Town big and the swamp small, if all of those things are available down here, then you just have to go up the mountain one more time, clear TR and Hera, and then do Ganon's Tower. At this stage, I feel like it's getting a little hopeful for that. Especially with how many things can be in Turtle Rock. Also, he does need to pick up a few more Turtle Rock keys. So maybe if we see a few Turtle Rock keys, again, there's that desert, might lead him to Pod.
Yeah, you got 12 items in Turtle Rock, so it's a pretty item-dense location.
Yeah, I do like the thoroughness on Slumberjack's side, but while an extra mountain climb can potentially be costly, the amount that's waiting for him up there is he's a little high to be being this this cautious. I feel all of the checks are getting more and more spread out. These got you know, Smith chain that's left. Not a whole lot. You know, I guess the TR big still has to show up. If the TR big is on Helmasaur, that ends up working out. But it's getting to be more and more of a gamble to keep putting that off. And also, if that's the tack, then I'm not sure why Bombo's tablet didn't go straight into Cave 45 and Dig Spot. That just seems like that would make too much sense to not do right on the same trip.
So let's, I mean, so what do we got here?
I guess maybe he wants to route it together with the purple chest.
Yeah,
No, I'd have done Dig Spot and Cave 45, and then just done the done this with the mirror and the flute. You know, just flute straight to 7, walk over to the desert and turn that in.
I can't remember if Slumberjack got that mushroom or not.
I don't think so. Because again, didn't ever really go to the right side of desert.
Nope, they didn't.
So it was never super convenient to go to Agina's cave. Still, I think it's kind of a mistake to not do that immediately after finishing desert anyway. I mean, maybe assuming you need to go back to desert, but I still don't know. Meanwhile, Readriim catching up, making that progress in Ice Palace. We still don't know where our logical flippers are.
Yeah. Well, actually, they could be in purple chest.
Yeah, I mean, these
'Cause we
checks
got
have been
the
in
mid-
logic for a while.
Yeah.
We'll see how how this turns out, this dig spot. Just remind me again where that shovel turned up.
I remember. Yeah, it was Harmless Hellway.
Okay, yeah, well, doesn't come into play. As we see 50 rupees on the flute spot. And now we're heading towards that purple chest turn-in, and then it's going to be the desert dive, and presumably right into the pod clear afterwards.
Man, these flippers.
Okay, now I guess he's changing his mind, going up to Hera. He's had enough.
Oh, it gets dead rocked. That sucks.
To me, this feels a little strange. I feel like that's an overcommitment to not full commit to the overworld clear. So I feel like if you're that far in, you may as well get those two relatively quick chests over on the right side of desert. Especially since with, Flute Mitts and Mirror, you can get there pretty quick.
Oh, we can get this. I forgot about this small key. We can get this small key on top of Spectacle Rock.
Yeah, it was a while ago that we first saw it. TR? Castle Tower.
Oh, there's the Castle Tower. That's very nice.
Now, what could we have on Ped? Can't have the Thieves Town big on Ped, but we could have the Swamp Small on Ped.
Yeah, with how these
Provided that there isn't a crucial pod small key in Swamp. I don't recall how many we've seen overall.
seen 5.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how many the game requires you to put the clear of the dungeon in logic, if it requires you to have all 6.
Oh god, if the GT Big was on pedestal, that's just mean.
Yeah, it's not looking much like GT mode at the moment.
Because
no, TR Big? Yeah, TR Big could also be on Ped.
Because yeah, if GT Big is on pedestal, that basically. Oh wait, no, Tower Hair is a crystal, so it does. So what I was gonna say isn't applicable.
Yeah, our pendants again: Pod, Thieves Town, and Mire. So Pod is actually clearable now, as Readriim is actually going to clear it. And that's also the green pendant, so there's that green pendant turn in. Also going to find the mirror, which is going to make that turn in a little more handy. We still need to find the Thieves Town Big in order to get whatever's on the pedestal, though. So as long as that doesn't show up, what is on pedestal is basically doesn't really matter, because there's no way that either of these runners are going to go to check it with the book. Maybe Skullwood's Big showing up would lead them over there, but
Yeah, it's hard to know for sure. Because it's hard to know what could be on pedestal at this point. Because 80 keys, the main caveat and like appeal with 80 keys is that you're pretty much full clearing everything, and you're gonna be getting a lot of you're gonna be getting high completion rates. So we could potentially see pretty much more than likely a full tracker. Okay, so they are gonna check the first floor of Hera.
Yeah, right now speculating on pedestal versus GT is kind of kind of a moot point because we're waiting on the TR big for Ganon's tower access and the Thieves Town big for pedestal access. We'll see what's in Hera basement. Just 300 rupees.
At this point, I gotta think that what we're missing is gonna be in Tower Rock.
Yeah, at this point, if you go up here, I imagine I didn't notice it, but I imagine we saw the tablet check. Yeah, I mean, you don't go up here, just clear Hera and then do another mountain climb for TR potentially. It's not logical to full clear it, but especially with other stuff you're looking for, Swamp Small, you take the chances that it's something else you need is one of the available checks in Turtle Rock here.
Let's see what this green pendant turn-in is. And hopefully it's part of the time. Oh, well, there's the Swamp Small.
Well, Swamp Small, it's a good find up there. Readriim actually going into Eastern Palace for the Crystal Clear. So Readriim actually making up some good ground, able to route those two dungeons together by doing Palace of Darkness first. Oh, the Eastern Big, yeah, that was in Spike Cave, which Readriim hasn't been back up to yet, and that's one of the tricky parts of Key Sanity is that's why it's so important to be thorough. Check what you can. You have to prioritize areas that you can do every check in, because if you happen to miss something important in an area and you have to consider coming back for it, that's sort of the most dangerous spot to be in. Is you don't have to just think of, okay, what can I check? Where are the most checks? You also have to consider, what could I potentially be orphaning? Because it's a lot more dangerous than it is with standard seeds. Because the amount of dungeon dives that you might have to do is insane.
Yeah, in Key Sanity, orphaning checks is you are making huge gambles. Oh, and there's the Thieves Pig. You're making huge gambles when you're saying, I'm not going to check this, because you've got, in addition to the current item pool you've got small keys and big keys shuffled into the overworld. So any check that you decide not to make is very big risk.
And it also starts to get messy when you add in some of those fake flippers checks. You know, that fake flippers access to Ice Palace, fake flippers to the Zora area, Waterfall Ferry. You know, all of that stuff. If you're used to routing all of that stuff in, you know, say you do the fake flippers to Zora early on, but you don't do the Ancilla glitch to get Zora Ledge. And you know, you were supposed to get that after you get the flippers, but then after you get the flippers, it doesn't make sense to go back there very soon. You know, you can really get bitten by routing most of an area in. Right now, Readriim is sort of reaping the rewards of doing Hera early and not having a reason to go back to the mountain other than for Turtle Rock.
Someone in chat, we don't have the flippers, so we cannot do Swamp Palace.
Readriim finally turning in this mushroom.
Yeah, so, like, in Key Sanity, like, why are you picking up that map? You already know what it is. Like, in Key Sanity, especially in AD keys, like, I personally, when I do AD keys, I don't like going too far out of logic. Because when you go, like, a bit too far out of logic, that causes you to, you know, discount other checks that might be in the sphere before the checks that you've already made.
Yeah, the big value of going out of logic in the first place is you might get a very powerful item before you're logically intended to, and can use that to sort of speed up the rest of the seed. In Key Sanity, a lot of those power items lose a lot of their power, just because so much of it is sort of kept in check by all those small keys you need to pick up. So, for example, finding the hammer early is not as big of a deal as it is in a regular seed, since it's not one of the only things you need to do a full clear of Palace of Darkness, for example.
Yeah, typically you will see full inventories by the end of an AD keys seed.
Yep, so Readriim going for these first. Again, makes sense. You don't know which key this is. You don't know what's on the tablet. And you've got a couple of checks in Hera, actually, to clean up. Meanwhile, Slumberjack making the smart play after that TR dive and going straight into Thieves Town.
Yeah, this makes sense. So let's see here. So,
oh, doesn't go into Hera on Readriim's side. Decides to go for that Spike Cave. I wonder if we will see the Turtle Rock dive here. My guess is no. After Spike Cave, it's not convenient to not save and quit out. Like, you've got to save and quit after Spike Cave. It's really kind of terrible to do anything else. Though he did just get the mountain spot, so you can save and quit to the mountain, and it's kind of not really a big loss of time. It actually, I think, is faster to save and quit and go to the right side than it would be to walk out. Not interested, though. Gonna take that Eastern Palace key.
yeah, because it pretty much is, like, it is pretty much the only thing that that Readriim can do right now, aside from, so Readriim can right now with his current equipment. I don't think they've gone into TR at all.
Right.
So they can go into TR. They can full clear Eastern Palace, which is what they're doing right now. The other, well, I mean, obviously they're not going to do this, but unless they've checked both of the chests in Aga Tower, but they can clear out Aga Tower, but I doubt any runners would do that unless it's logically required.
Yeah, at this point, the best time to do it is right after Aga 2.
Speaking of Aga 1, our blind pun was apparently about dark Aga rooms, and I didn't catch what the rest of it was.
It doesn't matter. Blind and his vile puns will be taken care of sooner rather than later. One hit with the Inferno. And there's the TR big.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's at a certain point, you know, you love to piss and moan about it, but that's what Key Sanity is all about. You know, it's about you have to consider those possibilities. You can't just assume that the seed is going to be nice to you.
Yeah, so the full pun of that is dark Aga rooms are not a bright idea. I actually didn't see that. I actually didn't see that Seiryu posted that in chat. I actually went to the GitHub repository. Yeah, so we're still looking for the GT Big. This is why, as a commentator, I should probably have a map tracker up as well.
Yeah, so right now it's sort of between. Yes, Lumberjack, not sure right now what the play is.
At this point, like, I think it's very much assumable that, okay, so I think one.
Ah, yes, Lumberjack hasn't done the castle yet. Yeah, you know, it really would make sense to do this with the ferry.
Yeah, and then also route and pod as well. Because
well, the problem with that is Lumberjack still hasn't been back to desert, hasn't picked up that pod big.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like, what could you be remembering about Castle Tower, or the castle and the Castle Tower that would make bailing on Pyramid Ferry the play? I'm not really seeing it, but you know, sometimes, you know, an hour and a half in, you know, you're so close to the end game, but you've got a couple of lengthy things to check. You know, Slumberjack right now might be hoping that the play isn't go straight back to Turtle Rock to get the flippers deeper in there. And so, and just in wanting to make sure you get those flippers right away. You know, also the possibility that this has been in Logic for a really, really, really long time by now. Not entirely sure what the idea here is with Readriim doing the full Agus Tower climb. There are no more items to be uncovered up here, and while this does have to be done eventually, it really doesn't save any time to do it now. It does make Pyramid Ferry a little easier to do, since you do have that Aga's the castle gate portal. But spending all this time to do Agus Tower just to do that, I'm not sure if that saves time overall.
Yeah, that's one of those risks that you're making. Because most runners will just save Aga Tower for last.
It just takes such a long time that it doesn't really save much time to do it early if you don't have to. Yeah, I suppose Irritable Penguin does make a good point. When you're running out of options and have to get some extra time to think about what you're doing next, doing Aga's Tower is a good way to just get yourself some time to sort of plan out what you want your next move to be. And all the while, you're making progress that you do have to eventually make.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so Slumberjack will be the first one to get into the Pyramid Fairy here. We'll see if the flippers are here. That's great news. Because Slumberjack desperately wants to be able to clear everything before going back up to finish Turtle Rock.
All right, so what do you have here? Big 20. And what do you give us for potions? Green potion, that's not bad. 50 rupees. Where do you want us to go, Seed?
I mean, right now, to me, it seems pretty clear. We got a... Readriim didn't get it off of the pod clear or the green pendant turn in. The flippers have to be in Turtle Rock in the back half.
Turtle Rock or... Actually, it could be on Ped.
That's also true. We did find that Thieves Town big, which does open that up.
Slumberjack, are you also going for the Aga Tower clear?
Well, Slumberjack hasn't gotten either of the chests, so we might see Slumberjack just sort of peace out after that maze chest.
Yeah, usually when you're doing 80 keys, the most efficient routing is to save Aga for last. Flippers lava chest will be fun. Oh no.
Yeah, so Readriim actually picks up a nice little bonus here. Can take the portal here to go right up. Doesn't have to go around. Saves a couple screen transitions at the cost of a single mirror. Well, I guess a double world transition, but sort of puts you right where you need to be. And at the end of the seed is not going to have to finish the climb, though I guess Lumberjack is doing the entire climb now as well. In a certain way, that does make sense, because you are saving the time that it takes to check those chests by routing it into your eventually required clear anyway. And the equipment advantage at the end game isn't going to make a big difference since we already do have the silvers, can one-shot everything. It makes a little more sense actually on Slumberjack's side than on Readriim's side, because Readriim had already picked up both of those items.
Yeah, the main thing we're really just looking for at this point for item go mode is just the flippers. Like, that's literally all we need for item go mode.
Yeah, we need the flippers, and the GT big key, which again could be just about anywhere.
Yeah, the GT big key can very well also be in GT. Which if it is, that sucks.
Thankfully, the flippers can't. It is a little bit unfortunate for the total runtime of this race, though, that neither runner knows that the pedestal is in logic right now, since Readriim is looking for the Thieves Town big, and Slumberjack still hasn't found that pod. Now, Readriim is getting to the Smith chain now. Unfortunately, it's going to be a fair chunk of time for not much gain, as we know, since we've already seen the that check come out. Also, we're not going to be seeing the fake powder here because Readriim already did spend that mushroom.
Yeah, I mean, like, we have to narrow our options down here. We have Pedestal and we have Turtle Rock.
Yeah, honestly, what's hurting Readriim here is again, didn't have the incentive to do a Turtle Rock dive, and didn't commit to the Turtle Rock dive on the second trip up the mountain when picked up that Eastern big.
Yeah.
Slumberjack at least had that Tower of Heraclear staring him in the face. I think Slumberjack is slightly closer to exhausting his options, though. Pretty soon he's going to realize that he's got to go to Desert Palace. Yeah, right now is going up to Zora. And again, the big advantage here is that Slumberjack was able to route all of these together so efficiently. You know, Readriim did, one here, one there, and it ended up fake flippering up here a few times. Slumberjack forgetting that he doesn't have the factual flippers and has to go the vanilla way. Something that's very easy to forget when you're in a hurry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You tend to need a lot of patience. And you need to really think in regards to the logic and like where did I find this item? Like what sphere did I find this? So that way I know what can and can't be something that
Ooh,
I'll see.
Slumberjack going up the old Turtle Rock again.
Yeah, yeah, they they need to go to Turtle Rock right now because Turtle Rock has way more item dense, and provided that Slumberjack does steal the small key to the vanilla big key chest, he can full clear Turtle Rock, with the exception of the big key chests, which it's a risk you're taking because you are isolating one item. Oh, they already stole it. Never mind then.
Yeah, so and skipping the lava chest in this situation does actually make a lot of sense because you're really running out of locations for that Turtle Rock small key to be. Because there will be an extra one if lava chest is hard required. You will be finding that sooner rather than later. So you just take the chance that you can save a whole bunch of time and just skip it. And if you need to go back for it, at least the hunt for that small isn't going to be too long. And here we see Readriim going back into Tower of Hera because has a few things to clean up here.
Yep, they got the basement and they also have the big chest.
Readriim is not a fan of gameplay.
Yep. Just gonna take a nice sip of coffee while these tiles try to smack him.
Yeah, Slumberjack skips the big chest. A little bit unfortunate.
There it
Doesn't
is.
matter. I mean, unless I guess it's the big key. But those flippers are what Slumberjack came up here to find.
So that is item go mode.
It would have been nice to do this straight into Ganon's tower, but we now know for sure that that would never have been possible.
Yeah, literally all we need now is the GT big key. Well, so Readriim still needs to get the flippers and the swamp small. They also need to get the Thieves Town big and the TR big and another TR small, provided they do. There's the cape. Provided they do steal the small key.
Ooh, Slumberjack getting that nice freewheeling key dash, unless there's a setup for that I don't know about. Okay, Readriim, it looks like you're planning on setting up for another Hera pot. Make sure you get it in less than 60 seconds this time, hopefully. Would really suck to have to go for that twice. Looks like he's using the hook speed one.
Yeah, the hook speed version I find tends to now obviously I'm not experienced at all in Hera pot, but I tend to see that the hook speed version appears to be a lot easier compared to the bomb version. That's at least from what I've seen. I don't know how to do it.
I feel like the bomb version is you see it a lot more from more old school runners because I feel like if I'm not if I'm correct here, I think the hook speed setup is newer. The bomb setup is more consistent if you have the practice with it. But it's the hook speed setup is it's pretty easy to just sort of bash your face against that wall until you're stuck halfway inside of it.
Yeah, like when you're first like learning it, it's like a whole bunch of like trial and error. That's how people learn most of the little tricks. Like that's how I oh
Readriim, you did it in the order it's supposed to be.
you do it
That
you
it
do it
ought to be.
counterclockwise. You do it counterclockwise.
See, Readriim did it in the way that I believe it should have been in from the beginning, doing the right one for Eastern Palace, the left one for Desert, and then the top for the Tower of Hera, in the order you do them in. That would have made a lot of sense. For some reason, Nintendo decided that would not make sense. So, yeah. Readriim is, after my own heart there. Yeah, now Slumberjack is going to Swamp Palace first. Again, this isn't going to be too bad. The problem is he's likely going to be checking the left side, which is going to be something that Readriim probably will not have to do, since Readriim will be in go mode for Swamp Palace. And Slumberjack still needs to find that pod big, which is in the right side of Desert.
Yeah, so Slumberjack just needs literally literally like 2 more items. 3 preferably. So pod big key, GT big key, and preferably another GT small. Because having more GT smalls makes that climb just so much easier so you don't have to end up killing the enemies. Well, okay then.
Yeah, we could see a straight Ganon's Tower climb, no basement, but we do have to see that big key show up.
Okay then. Yeah, so they're definitely set on
I mean,
the
that's
GT climb.
that's kind of bad news because like how much weight do you put on that? All of these GT smalls being available, it could mean that you do have the GT big deep in GT, you might decide if you're really feeling behind and you need a miracle, let's skip left side swamp. And then if the GT's big key is over there, it's a big hit. But if it's not, you get to save a nice few minutes. If you feel like that's your only chance to win, then you might go for it. And this has been a mess of a seed enough that, either of these runners might consider that. Not to put decisions in their heads, but trying to create a little drama here. Of course, right now Readriim is in kind of an unfortunate spot since the big key is required to get those flippers, since it is behind that big key door. And we know that Turtle Rock big key is in Thieves Town. So Readriim's got another trip up here so far.
Oh, they are not doing left side.
Okay, well, better hope that that's not where the Ganis Tower big key is. I don't hate the play, though. Especially not with 3 Ganon's Tower bigs, because that actually opens up a lot of the dungeon while still allowing you the freedom to go straight up.
Do you see it? There's the GT big.
And there it is.
So, yep.
Gamble pays off.
Yep. So we're in no mode now.
Yeah, Slumberjack still needs to find the pod big, so we'll be checking this chest. Really probably going to be hoping that it's not on left side swamp.
Okay.
Might end up checking Magic Bat, though.
Yeah, that powder might... Oh, yeah, also not to mention that, Readriim did open up a lava chest, so that is another small key that Readriim is going to have to search for.
Yeah, can get to those flippers. That last Turtle Rock Small could be on left side swamp.
Yeah. Yeah. Stealing the lava chest key is a big gamble, and if it doesn't work out, it's very painful because that is a huge time loss.
Slumberjack not going for the single arrow to quick kill Argus here. Just decides to go for the easy 3 or 4 cycle A. Didn't quite count.
I actually don't think that the TR that the 4th TR small can be in the big chest. Speaking logically, but like I said, key sanity logic is really weird.
So Slumberjack going for that Magic Bat check here.
Yeah, this makes sense. It's not where he needs to go, but it's definitely it's something that is weighing on his mind with that powder now. Hey, there's the... Oh, that's bad.
See, yeah, it is behind swamp.
Oh, that is bad. So yeah, maybe the fake powder would have been more beneficial.
Yeah, that's oh man, that sucks to see. That map was pretty good. But I think a TR small is definitely more useful to Readriim here.
Well,
it's Slumberjack. You forgot. Oh man. Oh right, I suppose. Yeah, he's in GT mode. He's assuming that pod big is in GT. He's got no idea it's not. So yeah, I thought for a
Yeah.
second he was going back just for the TR big, and I was like, what kind of play is that? But no, he is in go mode. So we have our favorite guessing game. Guess which check the Gansour big key is going to be. If you guessed 0, you are correct, because that is what it will say on the credit screen.
It would also be a nice thing if it had that little functionality in Dorando where it shows you the total amount of checks that you've done as you're playing. Hey, there's the bucket. Oh yeah, we already saw this. But yeah, so Slumberjack's going to be clearing GT, and they're not going to find anything. So this is time that Readriim is getting back.
Yeah, the good news here is that at the very least, Slumberjack isn't hunting for the GT big. The bad news is that Readriim, after making that third dip to Turtle Rock, it's really kind of a toss-up. Slumberjack is going to be doing a lot of this basement. I think we're going to be seeing the right side first. It is key neutral if you do the entire right side. So you have to spend one small key to get past the tile room here, and you can get one small key at the very end. So you don't lose any keys doing it. Not interested in doing the tile room. I think that's a good call at this point. It could be that that's exactly what you need to do, but there's so much else to do in here that you don't take that risk.
Yeah, the only things that we can find in GT that could be of remote usefulness are bottles and other swords. Because we've got literally everything else that we need.
Are we going to see the fabled golden arrows?
Oh, that sucks.
You know, the golden arrows? They're a very well hidden item, but little do people know that they're actually 217 checks in this game.
They did not pick up that small key. They mirrored on the frame before they picked that up.
Yeah, I think he should still be okay.
Oh no!
I mean, it's really not. I mean, I love myself a blind ped pull. Oh
my god!
Readriim has won my heart with that play there. You know, if you have the book and you can check the pedestal, but you also have all 3 pendants and you can pick up the item, you are a traitor to the cause if you do not blind pull that ped. If you check it with the book first, you're a coward and a failure.
I always do really fun things whenever I'm on tracking. So whenever someone goes to pull the pedestal, I just switch the audio source to them.
But yeah, Readriim picking up that sword. So that means that there's only one possible sword for Slumberjack to still pick up. Because Slumberjack is not going to find that one.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, Slumberjack's going to be skipping that.
Then there it is. Okay, so bailed out by the unnecessary GT basement clear. Still, I think advantage Slumberjack here, if I'm being perfectly honest. Because Slumberjack is about to clear most of the rest of the GT basement here. Has the 1 key necessary to go up. It has enough equipment that it's pretty comfortable. And really is only going to have to maybe... The biggest issue would be if Slumberjack has honestly forgotten entirely about Right Side Desert and has to remember that it exists.
Yeah.
If this is just putting off that play, then Slumberjack gets there eventually. If Slumberjack forgot about it, it could get messy. I know I've been guilty myself of convincing myself entirely that I've checked Lake Hylia Island, and lo and behold, the medallion I needed was there.
Oh my god. Well, there's the mirror shield.
Well, that's gonna help when one of like 2 enemies in the game tries to attack him. Lumberjack, everybody knows you pick up the bottom one and do the top one. By which I mean everybody knows I do that. By which I mean I know that I do that. Ice Armos will not be much of an issue. However, we know that nothing else exciting is going to show up in the rest of GT here. Readriim is going to show us what's in the Turtle Rock Big. However, we know, once again, that it's not going to be exciting. Oh, 20 rupees.
Boo. Also, wait. Also, Slumberjack did T, right?
Did what?
CT.
Yes. Lumberjack did do the entirety of Agnum's Tower. So yeah, Lumberjack deciding to go for Tile Room. Makes sense. You're never going to be back here. Or rather, if you do Tile Room now, you never have to be back here.
I actually question whether or not they're just gonna do the climb right now.
Oh, they will. 100%. If you're up here and you don't do the climb now, you have to do another mountain climb to get up here. You 100% do the entire climb right now and then figure out, well, okay, I cleared out GT. I know it has to be down here somewhere. So you know you're never coming back up here. Unless, of course, you're considering that Turtle Rock Big. Yeah, but it would be a self-sabotaging play to not climb up Ganon's Tower right now. There's no world in which, you know, doing pod before the GT climb really saves you time. And Readriim becoming sad. Learning that one small key will separate him from the boss fight of Turtle Rock. And given that the small key we need is locked behind Swamp Palace, there's absolutely no hope of saving that portal. He does have the mushroom, but actually he doesn't because he gave it to a witch, who turned it into a map, which he took for some reason.
Yeah, there's in 80 Key Sanity, there isn't really any reason to take maps because you're doing all the dungeons anyway.
Yeah, there is kind of a reason. Once you have identified the 5-6 crystals and the pendants, you can you now sort of have full knowledge of all of the dungeon prize setups and which dungeons and thus items and keys are required to obtain the rewards locked behind them respectively. And since you can find the green pendant info for free and the red crystal info for free once you have Dark World access, the really most important maps are the ones for the blue and red pendants. So if they're really easy to pick up, it's worth picking them up. At the time that Readriim picked that one up, though, it was kind of late into the season. We kind of knew a whole lot anyway.
Yeah, because knowing what each dungeon prize is can help you see into the logic a little bit.
Yeah, and that's something that as you play more of it, you really start to suss some of these things out. Readriim about to pick up another GT small. Luckily, though, on Readriim's side, he knows that those GT smalls aren't going to mean that, you know, he has to go to GT to get the last thing he's looking for. So that's good news there.
Yeah. So once Readriim clears Swamp Palace, he's going to be in go mode because he's going to be picking up that TR small, and he's going to be picking up that GT big.
Well, the problem is the TR small is hidden, so he's not going to hit go mode until he gets to Magic Bat.
Oh yeah, that is right. Hey, there's the third bottle.
Though on the same side, Slumberjack still has to go over to Desert Palace and find the Pod Small over there. Or the Pod Big, rather. Luckily, though, for the end of the race, we've gotten the two big endgame things out of the way. We've gotten the Castle Tower climb and the Ganon's Tower climb. So, Readriim's going to have a more conventional ending, finishing off Swamp, eventually finding that TR Small and finishing off TR and GT at the end of the seed. Slumberjack is going to be finishing up Ganon's Tower right here, and it's just a Helmasaur fight away from the Ganon fight for him. So we're really going to be wanting to... I wonder if Slumberjack takes that to... Oh man, if Slumberjack takes that to Skull Woods, there's a possibility he finds that fourth sword. No, there isn't, because he's looking for the Pod Small. Or the Pod Big. I got a little bit excited there.
Yeah, no. Slumberjack is never gonna go and pull the pedestal.
Yeah. Oh man, I just wanted to believe so hard. Ooh, close to a triple there. Two doubles though, you take that. Nice. He banked that all on that not being a blue ball and got it. That's a nice 3-cycle.
Nicely done.
But yeah, Jack is definitely in the lead right here, because Readriim does have a lot of obligatory stuff that takes time, that has to be done, and unfortunately is losing even more time here by doing Left Side Swamp. Something that Slumberjack is very, very unlikely to check first, unless, of course, it is that situation where he forgot that the right side of desert exists. It all hinges on this flute spot. Okay, yeah, this makes sense. Check that, check the Skullwoods Big. That is the fastest check to do right now. And Readriim is about to find the GT Big Key, which is going to be a cold comfort, since the Turtle Rock Small he still needs is has yet to show up.
There's the last bottle. Oh my god.
Bottle, full inventory. I've said it before and I'll say it again. AD Keys is a very comprehensive mode.
Oh yeah, it's for sure a very... That is right. Actually...
No, yeah, I wonder if at this point you have to think he's checked it off. He thinks he did it.
Oh yeah, he hasn't done Zika because he got the armor from Eastern Palace.
Also, the crystal on Zelda's crown there is blue.
Yes. Agina was just a mushroom, which Agina just led to a map.
I think Slumberjack was about to go back into Left Side Swamp. Yeah, I think Slumberjack has kind of forgotten about Right Side of Desert.
Yeah, and this is something that, this is why you need to be, you have to really think, because it sucks when you you're missing something, but you don't know what that is, and that just makes you just, very scared and feel very frightened about, has my opponent checked this? Like, what have they checked that I did not?
Yeah, and then there's also the whole thing of, which if you've been doing a lot of practice, some of your seeds start to flow together. So yeah, going here doing Waterfall Fairy.
Yeah, no. So
Because that dive into swamp just to me looked like, I just remembered something else that I've got.
yeah, Readriim is about to hit go mode here in a second.
Ooh, that's again, Readriim has a lot of ground to cover, and it's now just a race against time for Slumberjack to find that pod big key. He's gonna go to left side swamp. He's gonna do it.
Yeah, this makes sense. It makes sense. It's not what, like, we know that this is not the play to make, but to him, and I like this play. I understand this play, but it's just not the answer.
I don't know. I feel like it only makes sense if you've forgotten that the right side of desert exists and Agina, because if unless you're thinking, you don't do an entire Swamp Palace dive for 2 checks when you can do right side of desert and Agina for 3.
The other thing also is that in general, when you're doing swamp, you're more likely to see people just do diver down to do left side, but we did not see that on Slumberjack's side, so they're going to have to do things the slower way.
I'm pretty convinced Lumberjack has mentally checked off Desert Palace. That clear was so long ago that I just feel like he in his mind is, I went to desert, so I did those checks. Especially given that when Slumberjack went there the first time, he had boots, whereas Readriim didn't have boots the first time, had to go back for didn't actually have to go back for the pod small key because it got bailed out by Zora. Yeah, this is the big question because Readriim has the win condition in hand right now. Just has to execute for, I'm always bad at estimating how long it's going to be, but it's going to get to skip all of GT Basement. Isn't interested in anything down there. Maybe would like to see that sword, but definitely, even if he knew it was there, wouldn't go for it.
So yeah, like this is really just Readriim's race to lose right now because he's in go mode, and he has anything that he could ever want. He has Tempered Sword, which most runners are good on finishing with, and he's got Red Mail, which is also another nice thing. Like, what more could you want?
Yeah, this Slumberjack's lead here was really predicated on him going to desert sooner rather than later. And not to mention that Readriim also gets this nice tempered sword to try next fight. Nice little boost there.
All right, are you into desert?
Nope.
No.
We are big.
Oh my god.
Desert's not real. Desert's not real. Desert's all done. He's done desert.
Yeah.
That is 100% confirmed now. Like, there's no way if you know that there's anything in desert that you go all the way to TR big.
Yeah, the one thing I found really strange was that Slumber didn't check the TR big chest, even though he was like pretty much right in front of it.
So I guess Slumberjack also has a lava chest. So there's 2 chests in TR. Still not a play you make if you know that you've got right side desert waiting for you. There's got to be something mismarked on Slumberjack's tracker, or in his brain. As I know a lot of people like to use that as a tracker.
And 2 hours 15 minutes, and Readriim is finally ready to make the climb up Ganon's tower.
Yeah, and it's a tower climb, no basement. Armed nearly to the teeth, about to the jawline here, just missing that last sword upgrade. The one that makes the least amount of difference at this point in the game. It helps on a few bosses, making the quick kills a little more consistent, but here it doesn't really help much. Like, the biggest combat challenge is the gauntlet, and those enemies have pretty low HP anyway.
Okay, you're gonna flute again. Please flute to 6. Are you gonna flute to 6? Okay, he's fluting to 6. Is he
I'm
gonna
really
go?
curious to ask if he's going to Misery Mire. Oh no, he's doing this because it's the fastest way to get into desert. Okay, never mind. I was throwing shade on you. That was my bad.
Yeah, he's going to desert. Yep. He's remembered. I think he's remembered right side.
Yeah, if we have a post race interview, I will want to confirm that. I want to believe that was a lapse in judgment, and he didn't intentionally decide to route this in last, because that would not look good on his resume. Checked right side desert last in AD keys. This is going to be awfully close to 216 out of 216.
Yeah.
So if Jack can finish Pod off pretty quick, it's really going to come down to how fast Readriim is able to finish this tower climb. About maybe halfway done, maybe a little more. This is a close race.
Yeah. Now that Slumberjack finally remembered right side desert, now he's really in contention. Like, he's in really good shape because Readriim's making the GT climb, and GT climb plus it's probably going to take more time compared to just Slumberjack going right to the back of Pod, and just killing Helmasaur.
And Readriim missing these extra cycles on Landmos, on Wizrobes too. That stuff is mattering now. That it's really gonna make a difference. You know, even this, taking the extra time to be safe and avoid the jingle glitch. You know, I am a huge fan of playing it safe here. You don't want to choke trying to go fast, but if Readriim could see the restream right now, it would be really tough to to not think that you got to rush. Again, has to delay just a little bit, avoid despawning the rest of GT, because that would be GG. Readriim almost there, gets to skip the Helmasaur here, as well as this chest. Doesn't have to do anything here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just gonna ignore everything. Just go ahead.
Okay, if Readriim can get a quick kill on Moldorm 2 here, a quick jaunt through that last Hellway, and is able to get a comparable time to Slumberjack's 3 cycle on Aga 2.
Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Your fall. Please don't fall.
Ah, there it is. He wanted it. He wanted it too bad. All you really needed to do was stand back and charge up the blade. Use that hitbox.
Yeah, Slumberjack found the GT big key, and he cleared GT first because he was looking for the pod key, which we knew was in right side desert.
Yeah, so honestly, that Moldorm fight may have cost Readriim a chance to keep this close. Again, we could see a Ganon fall. At this point, with how this race has gone, the nerves have got to be super high. Both of these runners seeing that the other hasn't finished yet.
Yeah, no, like Slumberjack's gonna have a much quicker time to gain because all he needs to do is just save and quit, and he's gonna respawn at the pyramid. And there's the save and quit. So now it is finally time to go.
Readriim's in a good
kill the
spot for
pig.
this. No, he misses the last double.
Ooh.
One extra cycle. Okay, manages to clutch out that last one. If Slumberjack definitely has the lead here. They have essentially identical gear. Slumberjack takes a little more damage from a Ganon hug, so if he gets a little greedy on these first 2 cycles, he's gonna pay for it a little bit. Nice pattern in the corner here, though. Able to get those double spins in. Probably this is the only second phase cycle we see.
Yeah, no, this was. It really was looking like this was Readriim's race to lose, but as soon as Slumberjack remembered right side desert, it's now like literally neck and neck.
I mean, it was a last location. That was the last location you could have checked, other than Agina's cave. So yeah, Slumberjack now just has to not choke these silver hits. Sets up Torch Glitch. Ooh, gets a double in. Now he just needs to hit him one more time. And I think that's
one more
gonna
time.
be it.
Ooh, and there it is.
And right now, he's praying that his opponent is not about to finish during this fanfare.
Yeah, like, so get your GGs in chat for Slumberjack as he crosses the 1x3 ridge, and Slumberjack finishes in first place with official racetime.gg time of 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 25 seconds. What an amazing race.
Yeah. And again, we got Readriim not far behind with an official time of 2 hours 23 minutes even. So 35 seconds between those clears.
And here is the winner of today's match, Slumberjack.
Hello, GG's.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you feel like you deserved that victory today?
Like starting from like the Mothula fight and then like just not doing any fight correctly at all. I should not have won this one at all. I felt
Yeah.
so bad the entire time.
So a question I definitely want to know is, did you forget that you hadn't cleared all of Desert Palace?
No, I intentionally put it off. I felt like I was behind, so I decided to go back for Left Side Swamp and Turtle Rock first.
Yeah, again,
And I just left it behind.
You definitely weren't behind, honestly. So that, to us, that looked really strange, because you had wrapped everything together pretty nicely. There may be like some 8 odd checks that you didn't finish, that you didn't actually pick up.
Yeah, I try to be efficient with it, but I just felt like my execution was really off, and then having to do the multiple mountain climbs, that felt really bad as well. But yeah, I just made a random decision at some point. I was like, I'm just gonna leave Desert alone for a little bit longer, and because I don't think I got the Desert Small until after I did Mire, or did I have it before Mire? I forget.
Which what are you asking about? Which one?
Uh, when did I get? Where was the Desert Small key? I don't even remember.
That one I don't remember exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just put it off. There's no good reason for it.
Readriim unfortunately checked Lava Chest the first time through TR, so I had to go
Ooh.
down all the way, go through, get the big key to Thieves Town, go to Thieves Town to get the big key to TR, go to TR to get the flippers, and then go to Swamp to get the powder, to go to that to get the last TR small so he could go fight the boss. But at that point, as soon as he checked powder, he was go mode, so he got to skip all of GT basement, and that's how he finished, only 35 seconds behind.
Yeah, I'm super curious. I'm gonna watch the replay because I want to know like
this will
how
be
like they started and stuff like that, because like there were certain things I was doing at the very beginning. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna ignore the fact that I have this desert big and book for the longest time possible. But yeah, it'll be really curious to see what my opponent did as well. But I mean, it worked at least well enough because they finished like right around the same time. So
yeah, we were like I was like literally thinking like, this is Readriim's race to lose, and then as soon as you flew to 6, I said, oh god, he's gonna find that desert big, and this is suddenly now extremely close.
Yeah, he was in the Ganon's Tower climb, and again with a slightly cleaner climb, it could have made it happen. Loses a cycle to Aga 2, loses he falls down on Moldorm 2, gets a slow fight there. Couple extra cycles on Lanmos 2. Not huge time losses in the grand scheme of things, but with how down to the wire this race came, it was really could have gone either way.
yeah, literally anything. Like I could have just beefed like a cycle or two on Ganon or something like that. So many things that could have determined this race in the end. Gosh, yeah, it was a seed.
Yeah, that Ganon fight was, going back to whether or not you feel you deserved the win. Every win is deserved here. But clutching that Ganon fight definitely earned you the 35 seconds you needed. That was a well done Ganon fight at the end of a long, frustrating seed.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, I hope he put on a good show.
Oh, for sure.
I would like to say I'd like to say you guys put on a good show. Like, this was a fantastic race to commentate, and it really was down to the wire, because you suddenly just come up from behind.
Yeah, I mean, again, it certainly felt like I was behind. So, but thank you. I hope people enjoyed watching, and if you don't play randomizer, consider it. It's a fun time. You don't even have
Yeah,
to
you don't
race it
have
like
to finish
this.
the whole seed in 2 hours and 30 minutes either. I remember the first seed took me like 4 days and like 8 hours of playing. So
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, my very first races, they're like the easy open races, took me 4 hours. So it's just fun, and I hope people are inspired to join in on the hobby and see what we're about. It's a good time, good people.
right, and with that said, I think that'll do it for us tonight. Unless you've got any more last words, either of you.
No, just GG to my opponent again. Thanks for playing, and have a good day, everybody.
Yeah, and with that, I think that'll wrap us up. We've got we don't have any more open league restreams, but there's one restream for the Invitational League going on right now over on Speed Gaming. Again, has gone wild, and Red are commentating the match between Two Pearl, Two Furious, and Last Locationers. OC's 28 versus Lin. So if you feel free to go check that out if you want, and I think that'll do it for me tonight.
Yeah. Go ahead and follow the ALTTPR League family of channels. Go and follow my co-commentator Esmar, as well as our tracker SayRyuX. It was a pleasure commentating with you.
Yeah, likewise.
And with that, I've been Duodeca, and for my co-commentator Esmar, this has been ALTTPR Open League Season 3 match, and we'll see you for the next